So, you join me today in my little Cessna in the Isle of Skye in Scotland, and I'm going to do a bit of a trip down memory lane today. I'm going to fly from here to Oban, but we're going to fly some of the route that I recently drove on the NC 500, or rather just at the end of the NC 500, where we came from, did the Applecross Pass and then drove down through Glencoe down into before that drove down to Fort William and camped there for the night in Nevis, which was lovely. So we're going to do a little flight today, and I'm hopefully going to be able to visually pick up one of the landmarks that we stopped at. We tried to get a cup of coffee there, but it wasn't open yet, so we carried on, which is a shame because it was absolutely gorgeous. Love to go back one day. So without any more mucking about, let's just get this boy in here. Let's hold it straight. Looking down, our airspeed is active. We're not using any flap today. We should be good. 50, 60 knots and away, as they say on the telly. So just taking off from O'Connell. Is it O'Connell? I'm not sure. There is only one little airstrip on Skye, as far as I'm aware. Let's get the sat-nav direction in there. So we've got a little flight plan loaded, so it should be okay. There's a few waypoints on it that we need to be aware of. So we're basically taking off. We've got to do a bit of a 180 to head slightly north. Our first waypoint up ahead, which is the Skye Bridge. There's the airport, or the airstrip, airfield, with a bus doing wheelies, which just looks a bit weird. There's a bus on the runway, I don't know what it's doing. Bussing around. Okay. Is that the Skye Bridge? I think it is. No, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. As we pass over, that's the mainland, and this is Skye. Speed bunny over the bridge to Skye. That's not right. That's not right. So the route we're taking is, it feels like it's north, but it's actually more northeast. But then we will be turning and heading probably southeast. So that's for that. So there's the Skye Bridge in all its glory. Looks pretty good. But the star of the show, and the one that I'm most looking forward to, is straight up ahead, hopefully, and it's we'd completed the Applecross Pass on a Friday morning, and we came a little bit further south. And instead of going back to Inverness, which we started at Inverness, so we didn't want to go back to Inverness, so we started to come down the west coast, and we were going to come through Glen Nevis and all the way back down through Glasgow and back home. But the route took us past a place that I only know because of Flight Simulator, strange as it sounds. And when I saw the road signs to it, I thought, oh, hang on, I've done a flight there in the simulator. And what it is, in Flight Sim 2020, there are lots of bush trips that load up. Every time you get a new world update, there's some new bush trips load in. One of the bush trips was Clutton Hill to Glasgow. It doesn't sound very far, but what it does, it takes you sort of basically all around the central middle belt of Scotland and then back to Glasgow. So as far up north as Inverness, and then back down the east coast, go through Aberdeen, down to Edinburgh, and then back across. It's really good. And leg one of that was the airstrip we've just taken off from to Inverness. And this first little bit of it joins up with the road that we came down, which basically is the road on the far side of that little loch there. I'll just throttle back a bit here. It came down that loch, turned to the left and went all the way up that left hand side of that loch on the north side. And just down there, there's a bridge, and then there's a castle. And that castle is Ellendonan Castle. Now we stopped there. It's absolutely beautiful. And while I was down there, I thought, hang on, I know this place. Just from being in the sim, just from doing this in the sim, I recognised enough of the environment to know where we were. Now the road will be that road there that joins up on the left hand side. Look at that. We stopped in that car park just there. And that castle looks fantastic. It's absolutely glorious. Let's go round. Just really quick. Let's go round and see if I can. And then we took the coast road, which is just there. It looks like it's clinging on to the side of that hillside, which it is. But look at that. That castle was absolutely beautiful. I wanted to go out, have a little look around, but we really needed a cup of coffee. Parked in the car park in the big lay-bys right in the middle by the big tree there, in the motorhome, and then some Germans parked next to us, and they couldn't get a cup of coffee either because it didn't open until 10 o'clock or something, and we were there at 9:20 or whatever. Crazy. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful castle. Don't know anything about the people that lived there or whatever. It really looked great. Would love to go back there. Anyway, whilst I was down there and then driving up this the road on the north side of the loch, which is just down here, I recognised the scenery here from this sim, which is just mad. And the route that the sim bush trip takes you is basically you get to the end of the loch here, and there's a kind of gap in the. I'll try and point to it with a mouse. There's a gap here that you'd fly through. And you basically fly up that valley there, and up and over the top, and you appear in the middle of Loch Ness, and then you take a left, point north, head to Inverness, and land at Inverness Airport. We're not doing that today. What we're doing today is we're going to go we're going to take the other route. There isn't another route, but we're going to take another route, which is basically going to take us up and over here, these low-lying crags and mountains, and we're going to head to Fort William. I'm going to fly over Fort William and then land at Oban, which isn't far, but we're just going to be taking in the scenery as we go. Because there's the road. I remember driving around that little bay there, that little sort of inlet, background here, and then I'm sure we went hung left and went through the middle of that, but I'm not sure now what the actual road route was. It probably was following that road there that goes through this valley. Yeah, probably is actually. That very road. It was a cracking drive, really, really nice. And nice to do after the Applecross Pass, which was stunning. Jaw-droppingly stunning, even in low visibility. Just the wildlife that was present was incredible, properly incredible, more so than anything I've ever seen, really. Anyway, we're heading up over the top of these here mountains. I say mountains because they are mountainous, and they are technically mountains. This one in front of me looks a bit daunting, so I might just give it a little berth. What are we doing? 2,700. We need to, we probably need to get in the climb a little bit here. Just hitting the cloud layer. Bit of wispy cloud at this level. But yeah, it's a strange situation where you've never been somewhere in your life apart from flying over it in a flight sim, and then to be on the ground and actually recognise where you are. Very, very strange. Kind of brings virtual reality into reality. In a good way. In a good way. So I should get a good look at Ben Nevis as we get closer to Fort William. Maybe even spot the caravan site we stopped at. Shout out to Glen Nevis Caravan Park. We shackled it down there and took the worst of Storm Amy whilst camped there. It's absolute carnage. It's actually quite scary at a few points, especially as you watch a tree being ripped from the ground and thrown down. Get to wonder, are we next? But we were okay. We survived it. We drove down to Fort William the next day. No, we didn't. Drove down to Luss the next day. Another lovely campsite, but the whole area at that point was without electricity, so that was an interesting night. There's no hot water in the showers. There's no electricity, there's no lights, anywhere. There was a pub in Luss, which is a beautiful little village. They had a generator and they had hot food and a nice cold Guinness, which was lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Look at this. I mean, say what you like about Microsoft and all the rest of it, but when I'm sitting in my little sim with my headset on, it does actually feel. I mean, I know I don't get the sensation of being in the air, but the level of realism that you get is quite remarkable. It's quite remarkable. We're just weaving our way around at the minute. Just having a look at the view. I mean, don't ask me to name any of these little lochs and bodies of water. There are so many lochs in Scotland, it's ridiculous. But the one I was most relieved to see was Loch Carron, which is at the end of the Applecross Pass. Stunning and beautiful and thrilling as it was also a bit nerve jangly, because it's very, very narrow. You don't know what's coming the other way, especially when you're up at the top bit, because you're in the cloud, so your visibility is not brilliant. I was aware I was in a rather large, not huge, but a large motorhome, so not a good idea to have other things coming the other way. But still, there is a halfway point where you can stop and have a little breather, and then there's a little observation point just after halfway, just as you start the descent, where there's loads of space to just stop. And when we stopped there, incredibly there were stags and deer just sort of milling around. We didn't get close, we just observed quietly, and it was just fantastic. We were in their place and they weren't too bothered. They'd obviously seen a lot of human activity in the past, so they weren't too bothered at all, but they were curious and we were really curious, and it was magnificent. Much like the scenery here is magnificent. Look at this. Just jaw-dropping. Yeah. Absolutely magnificent. Drink it in. Let's have a little look outside, shall we? Just level her up and pop outside. I'm in the brown Cessna today. To blend into the background. So yeah, the campsite just outside of Fort William, Glen Nevis. Yeah, I mean literally by the side of Ben Nevis. Fantastic views. When we got there, made camp, got the van ready. It was actually calm, the weather was lovely, calm. There was a helicopter that started to scoot around though that we thought, what's he doing up there? As the wind picked up, he was still knocking around, and we thought maybe somebody's in a bit of trouble or something. And the lady in the little kiosk said that she'd seen, well, this was the morning after the storm came through. She saw people up on Ben Nevis, torches and things on it, sort of very early in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Which obviously is a little bit worrying. Oh, I'd love a coffee. Thank you. So this looks like Fort William, and straight in front will be Ben of the Nevis. Magnificent. 4,400 feet, I think, in height. Highest mountain in Great Britain. And it looks great. Stoppy glitch there. I do still get them every so often, not as often as I used to, but still they are a factor. So if that's Fort William and that's Ben Nevis, the campsite would have been down in this little valley. Because that hill just in front would have been the one that the campsite was sitting looking at. I wonder if I don't want to doodle around too much because I want to get down the road, but just have a little look out here, see if we can spot anything familiar. Ooh, that might be it over there. In the trees over there. Yeah, that would be the campsite. I mean, what a location. So we had a night in there to protect us from the storm. Just by the side of the river. Yeah. Great little site. Love to go back there, Glen Nevis. And also one that I'd like to go back to is, strangely, is Luss. But the village was very nice there as well. And it was only half of it open because they didn't have any power. So now we're heading for Oban Airport. Oban is O'Connell Airport, isn't it? That's probably why I had that in my head. O'Connell. Oban O'Connell. Right. So from Fort William, we would have followed the road to Tyndrum. From Fort William, you go through Glencoe, which I believe is probably off that way. Is it off to the left? Yeah, be off to the left. Yeah. So off that way through Glencoe to Tyndrum, Crane Larrick at the top of Loch Lomond, and then down the side of Loch Lomond into Luss. Down the A82, one of my favourite roads in the world. Just is. This way, this is not Loch Lomond, this would be, what would this be? Would this be Gairloch? No. I genuinely don't know. I don't know my lochs. There's so, as I said, there's too many. There's too many to know them all. But we'll hair along anyway. I don't know how far we are from Oban. Not too far, I wouldn't have thought. Track a little bit. We can just have a little play around the trees. Look at that.
500.
Yeah, bit of a 500 call out because I'm getting close to the ground. Probably as close as you want to be. Just stick to that. Okay. Oh, I think, am I going up and over, or can I skirt around the side of these there? Cross over this little loch here, a little tributary, with a nice bridge. Hang on, is that Bridge of Orkney? I'm trying to tell from the map, which is this old map here. Doesn't give you much detail in there apart from topographical stuff. I don't know what map options you have on this. So, yeah, terrain, traffic, that's about it. Doodly-doo. Oh, going off track right here. Let's keep your eyes up and out of the plane, especially here. Just nip through this little valley here, which is dead ahead. It's that this little piece here, I believe, and then we can get back towards the right hand side and the lower bits of this terrain. But, yeah, we can change the map range. Let's zoom it in a bit. We'll zoom it out. That's where we're going, to Oban. So pop over here, level off, aim for that little ridge in front of us. Just there. we'll take a dive down to the right hand side and follow on through,
500.
making sure we maintain a 500 foot safety gap to the ground. Okay. So I have a coffee awaiting me. So I need to get a shift on. So we're now pushing the envelope here a little bit. We are
500.
we're increasing our speed significantly. I've just got the nose held down. Could probably trim it down a little bit, but go. That's where we're going to be landing, out in the distance there. Literally straight ahead. Because I've got a coffee waiting for me, we're not going to be mucking about. We are going to speed land, whatever that is. I don't know yet, but I've made it up. We're going to land at speed because coffee takes priority. Get ourselves leveled off here. Keep an eye out for the runway. Bum, bum, bum. So according to this, it's just on the other side of that bit of land there in front of me, opposite the bit of land that's sticking out. So just round to the left here. Anything like most of the runways in the UK, it's going to be east to west or west to east, whichever way you like. should be on a straight run in if we're going this way. I didn't want to be climbing again. I just want to get on the ground. I'm sure you good people have got something else to do. Something better to do with your day rather than sit and watch boring YouTube videos. Alright, there we go. Now it's the first sight of the runway. So let's
500.
cut the power. Think about the approach. Watch these trees. Oh, 2 runways. Let's take the long one. So let's dive straight in. We've still got a lot of speed here, a lot of speed. So let's go and go flap. Try and knock off some of that speed. We're still speeding along. We should be able to just let some of it float off as we cross the threshold. 19, oh, we've got north-south. There we go. We just let it settle on there. Nicely done, nicely done. Oh, we're gonna make it, go and make it, go and make it, go and make it, go and make it. Cut the corner, cut the corner. Watch the van. Oh, there we go, there we go. Right, let's park up. Oh, he's probably got the only spot there. Right, we'll just park here, giving him a bit of space. We've got a bit of a turn circle. Park there. There you go. Welcome to Oban. It's coffee time. Ciao.